Good evening. What's goody? All right. I've been wanting to post this video and do like re my reply to it and talk about some things. It's just a boring Sunday night. Um don't worry y'all. I'm not depressed. I do like to talk about depression cuz it's been my lifelong journey. What I call is functional depression light worker. Yeah, I'm definitely a functional depressive person. I don't think I'm severely depressed. Based on like what my therapist talks or multiple therapists I've talked to, I know what I guess I have an idea of what severe like depression is like. I have is like a mild case of like lifelong depression. Therapists called it persistent depressive disorder, where it's just like a little depressed for a very long time, not like super depressed and like can't get out of bed. I get out of bed, I get this paper, I still do what I need to do, make my music, do what I need to do. But I mean, for sure, music is like what keeps me sane and keeps me having purpose to live, because which goes into what I'm about to share and talk about. If y'all watching this live or on the replay, 7 clear signs that you're a light worker. I feel like this British accent lady, anytime you hear somebody with a British accent, it sounds like they know exactly what they're talking about. But this lady, I feel like just described my entire existence. And yeah, I want to share that with y'all. So let's get into it. While I roll up, I'm still gonna get out. It's a Sunday before a holiday. I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna see what's out in these streets. Ain't gonna sit in the house. I feel like Mitzi is freaking bored and looking all sad and shit. But it is what it is, Mitzi. It's life. It's boring sometimes. It's not all play and games and fun. But yeah, let's get into it.
A note on the notion of light worker. The word light worker may evoke misunderstanding, since it lifts out a particular group of souls from the rest. It may be taken to suggest that this particular group is somehow superior to the others, i.e., those not working for the light. This whole line of thought is at odds with the very nature and intent of light work. Let us state briefly what is wrong with it. First, claims of superiority are generally unenlightened. They block your growth towards a free and loving consciousness. Second, light workers are not better or higher than anyone else. They simply have a different history than the ones not belonging to this group. Because of this particular history, which we will discuss below, they have certain psychological characteristics which distinguish them as a group. Third, every soul becomes a light worker at some stage of its unfolding, so the label light worker is not reserved to a limited number of souls.
This is gonna be a long video.
The reason we use the word
y'all.
light worker, despite possible misunderstandings, is because it carries associations
We're going a
and
little
stirs
deep. We're
memories
going a little
within
deep.
you that help you remember. There is a particular convenience to it as well, since the term is frequently used in your current spiritual literature. Historical roots of light workers. Light workers carry within them the ability to attain spiritual awakening faster than other people. They carry the inner seeds for a rapid spiritual awakening. With regard to this, they seem to be on a faster track than most people, if they choose it. This again is not because light workers are in any way better or higher souls. They are, however, older than most souls presently incarnate on earth.
Listen, I'm a Capricorn. One of the things I've always been hearing is that Capricorn, well, it's the oldest zodiac. And from the day I was born, I swear to God, I felt like I was just older. Everybody I hung out with, even if we're the same age, I felt like I was older. And it's not in a way to show off in any way. That's just like my spirit. So this off bat, once she said that and started talking about historical roots, I'm like, okay, you got me reeled in.
This older age should preferably be understood in terms of experience rather than time. Light workers have reached a particular stage of enlightenment before they incarnate on Earth and start their mission. They consciously choose to become entrenched in the karmic wheel of life and to experience all forms of confusion and illusion that go with it. They do this in order to fully understand Earth experience.
Yo, sometimes I'm like, yo, why is my life so complicated? Like, both sides of my family, nuts, issues, like no, and I know I'm not the only person that goes through this, but my particular story, I'm like, what on earth will possess the author to make such a complicated story? And I feel like what all this different spiritualities are telling me is that, like, we're really powerful beings that are gods, and we pick this life to get a human experience. So I really be telling myself, this is the only thing that makes sense. I picked this path. I chose this complicated, difficult path of trauma and life experience to gain wisdom. And yeah, and like this lady is saying, to fully understand Earth experience.
This will enable them to fulfill their mission. Only by going through all stages of ignorance and illusion themselves will they eventually own the tools to help others achieve a state of true happiness and enlightenment. Why do light workers pursue this heartfelt mission to help humanity, thereby running the risk of losing themselves for ages in the heaviness and confusion of Earth life? This is a question we will deal with extensively below. For now, we will say that it has to do with a galactic type of karma. Lightworkers stood on the eve of humanity's birth on Earth. They took part in the creation of man. They were co-creators of humanity. In the process of creation, they made choices and acted in ways which they came to regret deeply afterwards. They are here now to make up for their decisions back then. Before we go into this particular history, we will name a few characteristics of lightworker souls which generally distinguish them from other people. These psychological traits do not uniquely belong to lightworkers, and not all lightworkers will recognize all of them as theirs. By drawing up this list, we simply want to give an outline of the lightworker's psychological identity. With regard to the characteristics, outer behavior is of less importance than inner motivation or felt intent. What you feel inside is more important than what you show outside. Psychological characteristics of lightworkers. From early on in their life, they feel they are different. More often than not, they feel isolated from others, lonely and misunderstood.
Listen. This lady. Now, I don't know, I'm sure, like, probably people feel this way, whatever. This lady is, like, describing my life. I felt misunderstood all of my life. And I guess it's like asking why at certain points in life is what, to me, or why things are the way they are is what leads to depression, because you want things to change. You're not accepting the cards you're dealt. And that's what leads, to me, the sadness, the depression, and just can't ruminating these thoughts. And you're asking, why are the things the way they are? You know, why? And to an extent, to a point, yeah, asking why is just like disastrous, because we're too simple-minded. We're simple-minded humans. We're never gonna really know why for real until we're dead, maybe, and then maybe we'll get an answer. But I think, yeah, at least getting an idea of, like, listen, we're all special, and there's special reasons for everything we go through. And I take everything with a grain of salt, from religion to spirituality. I think everything is a perspective, and pick and choose what you want to gravitate to and hold on to. That's just what I believe. But let's go. Let's continue on.
Some individualists who will have to find their own unique ways in life. They have trouble feeling at home within traditional jobs and or organizational structures. Light workers are naturally anti-authoritarian, which means that they
Naturally resist
decisions or values based solely on power.
Listen, that's why this
Or
whole come on, why the fuck? That's why this whole pandemic, the corruption of the government drives me crazy. It was totally traumatic. Those years that was shaved off. Like, I was touring Europe multiple times before the pandemic. I felt like, I mean, obviously my momentum is back up, but I felt like a momentum building prior to the pandemic, and for the whole world to just be stopped like that. Like, we're still all, I'm sure, dealing with the after effects of being locked down, which was totally unnatural, but naturally anti-authoritarian. Totally me all my life. I just remember questioning everything, telling people nothing makes sense here. I was kicking and screaming all my life, saying nothing makes sense on this earth. I swear to God, nothing makes sense. And another point out of the 7 clear signs of being a light worker.
This anti-authoritarian trait is present even if they seem timid and shy. It is connected to the very essence of their mission here on earth. Light workers feel drawn to helping people as a therapist or as a teacher. They may be psychologists, healers, teachers, nurses. Even if their profession is not about helping people in a direct manner, the intent to contribute to the higher good of humanity is clearly present. Their vision of
being a teacher was like the first thing my grandmother said I should have been. I was always trying to help people. I was always good at teaching. I think I'm gonna teach martial arts this spring for sure. I need to teach something, music, martial arts. And I'm everybody's therapist. Totally me. It'd be nice to have somebody to talk to and like actually have an active listener, but that's not me. Like, my story, my walk of life has just really been, I am people's either therapist or people's shoulder to cry on, or like they call me to tell me their things, but it's never really like reciprocated. And it is what it is, but I just find it interesting. Like, why does everyone gravitate to me to tell me their things? And who's gonna be my therapist, besides my therapist? I had a whack-ass therapy session today. I think that's why I'm not gonna blame that on whatever the mood. Weekends are always hard for me. If I'm your favorite rapper, check on your favorite rapper, all right? Weekends be difficult. I desire a wife, a family. I ain't gonna lie, especially now, hit that age. That's the desire. Family, wife, but this shit, dating out here is trash. I've been on my passport shit, but now this passport bro shit trending, and I'm seriously like, yo, is my wife in Cambodia somewhere? Is she in Cambodia chilling right now, like waiting for a man like me? I don't know. So many y'all women think that whole shit like is about just having cheap sex, but y'all don't understand. Like, a man like me that like yearns to have a family and like some sense of like home, shit's crucial. Anyway, let's continue, because I'm going out after this. I'm not staying in the crib, you know what I mean? I just want to get this out, share this with y'all. Sometimes I'm like, am I sharing too much? Should I act like, oh, everything is all right and I have it all figured out and not expose myself so much? But fuck all of that. Like, y'all gonna get my story. People who tune in and watch my live, you're gonna see this person being built. You know, you're gonna see the finished product, you're gonna see the making of, in the making of also, because it is what it is. Sharing with y'all. All right, let's go.
Of life is colored by a spiritual sense of how all things are related together. They consciously or subconsciously carry memories within them of non-earthly spheres of light. They may occasionally feel homesick for these spheres and feel like a stranger on earth. They deeply honor and respect life, which often manifests as a fondness for animals and a concern for the environment. The destruction of parts of the animal and vegetable kingdoms on earth by human doing invokes deep feelings of loss and grief within them. They are kind-hearted, sensitive, and empathic. They may have trouble dealing with aggressive behavior.
Hold on, empathic. Yo, I feel so much. I'm sensitive. I don't care. I am 6'3". I am 264. I'm not 266 anymore. I lost 2 pounds. I've been fasting. I can fight. I know how to fight. I don't enjoy like what she's about to get into next, aggressive behavior and dealing with people, like whatever. I ain't gonna lie. Growing up, I didn't know what to feel about those type of things, like bully situations, people get older than me picking on. I didn't get picked on that much because I was always tall, but whatever. A couple little situations where it's like, I noticed my empathic energy, for lack of better words, is making me pussy. Like, I feel when I look in people's eyes, I feel, and I'd rather like, maybe it's the martial arts in me. I don't know what it is, but I'd rather like diffuse, you know? I also know I could hurt somebody. I don't want to hurt people unless I really have to, but like, anyways, I'm an empath. I just feel humans, and especially like looking at another black man that's feeling some type of way, you know, whatever. And I don't know, that empath shit, people use it. It's like a coin phrase now, but listen, that shit ain't always cracked up to be all the time. I don't want to be a damn empath all the time, but it is what it is. It's just naturally, I feel I have a lot of love, and walking into rooms, it's like hard to socialize sometimes because it's like it's like too much sometimes. Like, and even at shows, like if you ever talk to me at a show and like it seems like I might be disconnected or like not trying to talk too long, just understand, like as an empath and dealing with all these different people that I want to say hi to, that I want to talk to, my social meter, my energy gets drained. And I have to recharge, especially after I perform, because it's like I pour my soul into this music, and seeing all these people and trying to make everyone happy that showed up for me. And I'm thinking about this person that drove from Jersey, and this person I got work the next morning, and this rapper that wants a verse, or this producer that wants to work for me, or this photographer that wants a picture, and this fan that wants this signature, blah, 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 all this shit. That, listen, my energy sometimes is like I get overwhelmed. So yeah. Light worker, maybe just a concept. You know, what's a fact nowadays? Niggas always say facts. What the fuck is a fact these days? Like, it's all opinions written in books. But let's keep going.
And they generally experience difficulties in standing up for themselves. They can be dreamy, naive, or highly idealistic, as well as insufficiently grounded. For example, down to earth. Because they easily pick up negative feelings and moods of people around them, it is important for them to spend time alone on a regular basis. This enables them to distinguish between their own feelings and those of others. They need solitary time to touch base with themselves and Mother Earth. They have lived many lives on Earth in which they were deeply involved with spirituality and/or religion. They were present in overwhelming numbers in the old religious orders of your past as monks, nuns, hermits, psychics, witches, shamans, priests, priestesses, and
yeah, whatever. You know, take what you take out of everybody. You know, all that witches, priests, and all that stuff. I don't know about my past life, but I know as far as spirituality, psychology, I was drawn to it. Like the first book I ever picked up, like as a kid, well, not the first, but a book I remember always seeing was my brother's psychology college book. And I didn't like reading, but that book, like, I always wanted to figure out the brain. And really, I'm not saying spirituality just to be cool or sound cool, or if I use words like that, like, no, my life pushed me into spirituality because I needed a deeper understanding. I'm already too much of a deep thinker to just accept things the way they are and not dive deeper into a greater power. So yeah, I felt like it was a need, like for me to even find purpose to be, you have to have something. Listen, because like some people were blessed with good parents, maybe one or two. I had a great grandmother, no doubt about that, thankful for that. But like, we want our parents, right? So it's like when people who don't have that home growing up, that leadership, someone to show you the way, you have to find something greater, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. You have to eventually pick up on something greater, and you have to want to get over depression. I don't want to fucking be depressed. I don't want this shit. Like, and that's what really leads me to do the work, you know, because it's like really, especially on weekends when it's like I'm not doing a million things, working, right? I'm like, while I'm working, I'm making music and doing all this other things to keep my things going to events, networking, recording, making beats. Like when I'm not doing that, you know what I mean? It's like that's when the work, the spiritual self work comes in. I want to see the last point. Traces. No, yeah, let's fast forward a little bit.
Realms of the afterlife, realms of God and the spirits of good and evil. The invisible. Between the daily context of earth life and the mysterious realms of the afterlife, realms of God and the spirits of good and evil. For fulfilling this role, they were often rejected and persecuted. Many of you were sentenced to the stake for the gifts you possessed. The traumas of persecution left deep traces within your soul's memory. This may presently manifest as a fear of being fully grounded. For example, a fear to be really present because you remember being brutally attacked for who you were. Getting lost, the light worker's pitfall. Light workers can be caught up in the same states of ignorance and illusion as anyone else. Although they start from a different point of departure, their capacity to break through fear and illusion in order to attain enlightenment may be blocked by many factors. By enlightenment, we mean the state of being in which you realize that you are essentially of light.
Listen, me, I get caught up in the human realm, this human body, flesh prison. And I get lost sometimes. I've been lost. I feel lost, even when I'm progressing. And it's like I'm progressing as a human, accomplishing these goals. But yeah, those lost moments and forgetting that I'm a light, forgetting that I'm a spirit. I think like you get past this superficial human material world, you're going back to the essence, essentially. Like however, whatever brings you closer to God, whoever that thing is, whatever that thing is, we need that reminder. I need that reminder because this human shit, this planet Earth existence is clearly getting darker by the second. And we got to find something that makes sense. We got to find some sort of purpose. Oh, what is going on over here? All right. Whatever.
Capable of choosing light at any time. One of the factors blocking the road to enlightenment for light workers is the fact that they carry a heavy karmic burden, which may lead them astray for quite some time. As we stated before, this karmic burden is related to decisions they once made with regard to humanity in its infant stages. These decisions were essentially disrespectful of life. Yeshua says we will speak of this later in this chapter. All light workers now living wish to set right some of their past mistakes and to restore and cherish what was destroyed because of those mistakes. When light workers have made their way through the karmic burden, which means to release the need for power in any way, they will realize that they are essentially beings of light. This will enable them to help others in finding their own true self.
Yo, I ain't been paying attention to the chat, but Papers, Bob Marley, I'm hearing about this scandal with Raw Papers, and there's apparently metal in Raw's Papers. I wouldn't be surprised. This is America. They try to kill us in every which way possible. And some fools out here really think they will ever try to help us with some sort of medicine or anything. Like, you really like not paying attention. But yes, even down to the goddamn Raw Papers we smoke, you got to be careful out here. And I don't know, find balance. Better balance it out. But finding their true selves. Yeah, man. Getting back, because I know I'm powerful. I know I have a lot of potential. I accomplished so much, like to start where I started, and to, one of my bros in this rap shit, who didn't, someone like he's definitely a bro, but still music shit. But it's like he always points out, he's just like, yo, Rav, like, I seen you overcome this depression, man. Like, you a soldier, man. You a soldier. You know what I mean? I'm like, how do you even, like, how do you know this? Like, what do you see? What are you seeing? Because I don't really even talk to you that much about my stuff. But, he always tells me that. And I'm like, yeah, mental warrior for real. But, all right, let's wrap this up. What else we got?
But first, they have to go through that process themselves. This generally demands great determination and perseverance on the inner level, because society feeds them values and judgments which often go against their own natural impulses. Many light workers have gotten lost, ending up in states of self-doubt, self-denial, and even depression and hopelessness. This is because they cannot fit into the established order of things, and they conclude there must be something terribly wrong with them.
Yo, me all day. Not all day, but just a saying. But totally not feeling in place essentially just made me feel, got me off of my path. Even just with music, not fitting in, not rapping about what everybody's rapping about, not trying to act cool when I'm around a bunch of rappers, or trying to like be like anybody, or use everybody else's slang, or wear the same Jordans everyone's wearing, or do whatever is trendy. Like that, like, definitely made me doubt myself at times, until I realized, and I'm talking music because clearly it's like I'm still an artist too, and it's all a metaphor. But like, when I realized, like, when I'm my true self, I'm really bringing something that like no one else is bringing, because there's only one me, and for whatever you're doing, you're the only you, so not fitting in and not being in place feels awkward, feels intimidating. But realizing that, like, you're really special. But it's like this heavy squat bar on you, you know what I mean? That you just gotta, you gotta be strong. You were placed with this special gift, this special individuality, and like, you gotta hold that, you know what I mean? You gotta level up, and get over the human feelings that like something is wrong. It's easy to just think that way. It's easy to just get depressed and get sad and fall into the pits or whatever. But when you think about things from the perspective of your light on a deeper level, you realize like you're really given all of these obstacles because there's something great on that other end, that like, if you get it easily, if Shorty give me the box easily, it's just not as fun. It's like, if there's no type of like challenge with anything in life, it's just not as fun. It take, like, as a human, naturally we lose interest in it. So trusting the higher power, trusting your story, trusting your purpose, you know, and even at these lonely ass nights like tonight, where it's just like, whatever, for me, don't feel like creating, not much going on. All these other things you could do, whatever, fine, I'm gonna go to the goddamn bar and go see what's out here in these streets. But, you know, time for some leisure. But yeah.
What lightworkers have to do at this point is to stop looking for validation from the outside, from parents, friends, or society. At some point in time, you, who are reading this, will have to take the momentous leap to true empowerment, which means to really believe in yourself and to truly honor and act upon your natural inclinations and your inner knowing. We invite you to do so, and we assure you that we will be with you every step of the way, just like you will be there for others on their way in the not too distant future.
Yo, yeah. Just wanted to share that. I feel like that video really broke down. Am I a light worker? Maybe so. Maybe that's why I want to share my thoughts so much and share my life. Even though some people would be like, oh, keep things private and keep things, you know. Obviously, I'm not telling my whole entire story, but I give pieces of me to try and spread light and spread inspiration and use my pain and use my stories to know that maybe there's somebody else out there that feels the way I feel, and like, we in this together, you know what I mean, through this goddamn internet. Yo, shout out to you, Hollow Vegeta. Yo, use this internet. Therapy is dope, but it's not always the answer. It's just one outlet. And even me as a therapist, even me having a therapist, it's like, I still don't think I have the right therapist, and I'm doing more research. They make it so difficult. I mean, there's apps now, but the bread that it costs and whatever, you know, I'm thankfully like a hustler and I know how to get to the bread, but like, even for me, it's like, anyways, therapy is one way. There's many ways. There's many things that need to be done in your own therapy also. And eventually getting to the point where you don't need therapy. But the internet, YouTube, books, audiobooks, this British lady talking about being a light worker, finding some sort of answers and something that makes sense in this Ross demented world. Someone I actually connect with. What you mean? Oh, like the therapist? The therapist is a white Jewish lady who understands that we're different, understands that, like, the fact that she can't go through what I go through, and like, most times she does, understands the difference and tries to find ways to, because we're just human, we're getting over human feelings and emotions and stories or whatever, but there's still racial aspects and being a man, gender and racial aspects that, like, nah, you know, you ain't never gonna be able to relate to me and I can't relate to you in certain ways. But naturally, even like today, which annoyed me, she was recommending me a book about a Holocaust survivor and probably with an inspirational story. I'm not mad at that, but in the moment, it's just like, come on, like, these are signs I need to find another therapist, because it's like, although our struggles might be similar in some ways, nah, Like if I'm a black therapist and you're my white patient, I don't think I'm gonna recommend a book from Fannie Lou Hamer or something, or some slave rebellion book for you to be inspired by. Nah, I wouldn't do that. But in this white society, you know, that's just like the go-to. Like, use this story for your thing, for what you go through, and try to make away with it, even though it's not the same story. You know, so it's just like things like that where it's like maybe she's trying to help, but that shit ain't help. That recommendation. So like, yeah. Some days therapy is trash. Some days therapy helps. Some days therapy just like really takes me off the edge. Because listen, this music industry ain't no friends, and I'm not close with a lot of people like that. When I say relatives, I have family. They're not all my relatives. Mostly not my relatives, who I consider family. So it's like having someone to just talk to, period, because you can't just dump all your things on your homie or whoever, your girlfriend or whoever. Like, you know, like having just someone to just at least talk to and listen to you, for me, is what makes therapy needed. But it's not gonna fix everything. It's not gonna take away it's not gonna cure my depression or my story. It's not, and no one should expect that. It's just a kind of a training. It's like training. Me training to be a martial artist, one training session ain't gonna make me no black belt. I'm not gonna be a master, you know, a monk in a few training sessions, a year, 2 years, 3 years. It takes time. You're building towards something to be the best version of you. You're in my hometown while I'm OT. Just came to shout you out. Like myself from BK. Some game. I'm only 21. Oh wow, you're only 21. Ha ha ha. Shout out you, Black Pain. I fuck with the youth, man. The youth fucks with me, man. That's really cool. I just had a recording session with somebody who I don't even like to say the word fan. I don't even like, just, you know, it's a supporter, somebody who fucks with my music, whatever. And like, he was younger, and I was just like, damn. When I told him how old I was, he was just like, damn. I'm like, yeah, it's just dope. Maybe that's all this light work stuff. It's like spreading the light to this generational gap in between late teens to middle-aged people. People are true Holocaust survivors. Don't get me started. Silver Mind Method. Let's see. You be on some deep shit, man. I'm always okay. Jose Silva. Holistic system of meditation and mind control. I like it. I'm surprised I haven't come across. There's so much information out here. It's like information overload. 1977, okay. I'm gonna look into it. At least listen to the audiobook. Need all. I'll be rocking with Eckhart Tolle.
The Silva Method.
Eckhart Tolle and my few psychologists, therapists, philosophers, life philosophers. But I'm always open to, you know, it's never enough, man, because shit, yeah, I'm just not too cool, yo. I'm not too cool. Maybe that's what's gonna make me different. That's what makes me stand out. I'm not gonna sit here and act too cool all the time. Shit ain't always good. Like, and even when things appear to be good, and on the surface level, things look good, I'm accomplishing things, I'm thankful for the work that I put in to afford the things that I can afford and the work that I put in. But there's still demons along the way. A more goddamn higher you climb, more. It's just more shit you're gonna deal with. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. I be in the crib all the time. I work from home. I'm in the crib, and there's nothing wrong with that. But my ass, I'm an introverted extrovert. I need to be outside sometimes, get air, explore these Brooklyn streets, and take advantage. You know what I mean? Never ending process. That is absolutely true. But yeah, appreciate y'all tuning in and rocking with me. Real talk makes me feel not so alone in this lonely ass New York industry. On the road to being a rapper. Yo, thanks for tuning in. I fucks with y'all. Appreciate y'all. Real talk. Peace.